And so, as you get yourself to this place where you begin to see that difficulty and struggle are all just lies that you've been saying to yourself, and that if I had to give up drinking 19 years ago, when I hadn't gone 10 years, I had gone at least 10 years and had a few beers every single day. I couldn't think of a day in the previous 10 years that I hadn't had a few beers at night. Not one day could I think of. The idea of just saying to myself, okay, I'm going to go 19 years and never have a drink again. That's just enough to send you off on a binge, isn't it? But you can do easy things. And you can get anywhere from here. You ever hear the line, a journey of 1,000 miles? What? Begins with one step. That's right out of the Tao Te Ching. That was Lao Tzu. It's so simple. So when you think about balance in your life, think like this about being in balance. You have a dream, and your dream is to live a life that goes a certain way, that looks a certain way, that feels a certain way. You have a dream that you would like to be able to attract prosperity into your life, that you would like to live a prosperous life. My favorite example, I did it on the PBS show, of the lady sitting next to me from San Francisco who was flying back from Maui after having just done a wedding. And I said to her, what do you do? And she said, I'm a photographer. And I said, oh, how's it going? And she said, well, I'm never going to get rich at it. Now, this is just a thought. Is it true? I don't know if it's true. How can that be? How can you know if that's true, that you're never going to get rich? You don't know. So I said to her, well, would you like to get rich? This was what I always ask when people ask me. Well, she said, well, of course. She said, who wouldn't want to be rich? Everybody wants to be able to buy the things they want. We all want that. I said, so let me see if I understand. You would like to get rich. That's your dream. But what you offer up to that dream is that it'll never happen. That's out of balance. That's the kind of balance I'm speaking about. Not the kind of balance that allows you to do these kinds of things. The kind of balance that you begin to realize that there's a misalignment, if you will, between what it is that you are thinking and what it is that you offer up in the way of habits to make those dreams a reality. I call it principles for creating habits to match your desire. Listen to this quote. It's from Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, want, like what you want, is a growing giant whom the coat of have was never large enough to cover. Want is a growing giant whom the coat of have was never large enough to cover. That is, what you want and what you have are completely and totally out of balance. And Lao Tzu says this to you through me. When you put your attention on what you intend to create and you stay aligned with the way, with the source from which you came, it will show up. It has to. It has to. So that all of the deficiencies, all of the things that you want but are not able to manifest, have not manifested yet into your life, all of it is not because the universe isn't working with you. It will. It's because you are not a vibrational match, an energetic match to what it is that you would like to create. And all today is about is learning to change the way you look at your life and understanding that the life that you're living will change just by your changing your opinion about it. It's so beautifully freeing to not be concerned any longer with whether or not what you would like to have is going to show up. One of the favorite lines that Katie has said to me on many occasions is, to believe that you need what you don't have is a definition of insanity. Because it's just not true. And if the thought is not true, what is it going to do to you? It's going to weaken you. It's that you say anything to yourself that is not true. Anything at all. So it's just this really powerful, wonderful knowing. And I think about this when I write in the morning. And these words just show up. They just come onto the page. And I say, where do they come from? Who owns this stuff? How does it get here? How can any of this be happening right now? There are some times when I am so connected, and that's why I say 3, 4 o'clock in the morning is your best time. It's your calling. It's your wake-up call from God. Because it's the time when there's so few distractions. In Moby Dick, I remember committing this to memory when I was in high school. Here was Herman Melville, who lived up in western Massachusetts in the 19th century. And he would go out into the cornfields to get a feeling of what it must have been like to be out there on the ocean. And he would lie there on the cornfield. Imagine lying on the ground in the cornfield in the middle of August and seeing nothing but corn silk as far as you can see. That was Ahab out there looking for his Moby Dick. And he wrote these words: for as this appalling ocean surrounds the verdant land, so in the soul of man lies one insular Tahiti, full of peace and joy, but encompassed by all of the horrors of the half-lived life. Now, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I mean, that's like writing doesn't get any better than that. That there is within every single one of you, there is an insular Tahiti, surrounded by all of the fears of living the half-lived life. And all of those fears and all of those worries and all of those anxieties keep you from going to that inner Tahiti, that place. And I want to give you something specific that you can do with this. Because when you're lying there in your bed, debating whether to get up, or when you're going through all of the troubles and all of the difficulties and all of the things that aren't working, when you're putting your attention on what you don't want, and you can't stop it, and your mind is just this jumble of constant thoughts coming in and coming out. Can you identify with that? It goes on. Almost everybody, every patient I've ever worked with has this kind of thing. There is a way. There is a way. Close your eyes, and just right across the screen, write the word God. G-O-D. God. The instant that you find yourself putting your attention on what you don't want or what doesn't work or what you don't like, the moment that you do that, God, and then take the G out, move it over to the left, and then take the D out and move it over to the right. And now what you have left is 0. The only number that can't be divided. The only representation of what your return trip is about. You're going back to 0. You're going back to a place of oneness that is indivisible. And then just hone in, just go right into the center of that 0. And then put your thoughts on what it is that you intend to manifest. Just like that. Just like that. In that simple little drill or practical thing that I'm offering you right there, it's what I do. It's how I handle it. I go in there, and it's like I'll be thinking of, oh my God, I gotta fly over here, and I gotta get over there, and then I've gotta give a talk, and then I gotta get to this plane, and my daughter over here, and then my son is up in school, and I don't know what the hell's going on over here. And it's like this jumble, and I just go, God, no G, no D, zero. Move into the zero. Go into the place that's indivisible. That's your source. That's your return trip. And in that place, in that perfect, beautiful, soft, gentle, impenetrable place,